Hey everybody, what's happening? Captain Tommy Scoble, and you're on the lifeboat. How the heck are ya? Matrix Rabbit, good to see you. Tammy, how are ya? A lot of fun yesterday, Tammy. Appreciate you, I really do. Tree Hugger, good to see ya. Spanky Calhoun, it's always a pleasure to see you. You can't see him, but he's here. I'm a chatter, but I do watch. Yes. Jason P, good to see ya. I like the new thumbnail. JJ Bird, Pajama Pixie. You know what, Pajama Pixie? I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm just really happy that we were able to help out in some way or lighten the mood or anything that we were able to do. I mean it. That comment touched my heart. Midnight Show. There you are. Oh my goodness, it's Anik Alexander. Anik, good to see you. Jason P, half of that thumbnail is really attractive. The other half is terrifying. Meredith Lynn, good to see you. Mary Jones, how are you? Zelda. Sorry, people. Caramba, good to see you. Let's fire this thing up. What do you think? So today I want to talk about anchors. I've done this show about 1 million times, but there are different things that we anchor ourselves to throughout our lives, right? And for some people, we have a constant. There are people who believe in something other than themselves. I don't care if you do or not. If you do, for many people, that is an anchor. If it is not, right, then you need an anchor in your life that is a greater power than yourself. And this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and people quit NA and AA and walk away because they say that you've come to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. Or you come to believe that with a power greater than yourself. There are 56 people here currently in the lifeboat chat. Hello, Johnny Scoville. How are you? Good to see you. So there are 56 people in the chat, right? YouTube is blocking you from 80% of lifeboat videos. Anik, that's the strangest thing I've ever heard. I hope that's not happening to anybody else. But I'll tell you something. Check and see if you've been unsubscribed, because we're getting beat really bad again on the unsubscribed things. But 56 people in here is a power greater than yourself. It is. If you struggle with an anchor in your life, if you struggle with coming to grips with the belief in a higher power or not the belief in a higher power, 50 people, there's no way to argue the fact that 50 people would be a power greater than one. Thank you, Johnny Scoville. I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, look at this. Have you left that room yet? Reese, I have been in this room since I arrived. They've not let me leave this room once, I'll have you know. It has been that kind of a day. Not unsubbed, but also not getting notifications. This is something that else is an issue with people, and that's a bummer. You know, you've got to make sure you check. Every once in a while, maybe unsubscribe, hit subscribe, and then hit the bell for notification again. I know notifications aren't going out. This is happening to tons of YouTubers. I don't go live and have 70 people at 4 minutes. It's just kind of not usually how it happens. Johnny, take care, man. We will be seeing you shortly. I'm going to be going back and resuming my work here. My work here is almost done. Very, very adult catch-up. Uh-oh. Johnny Scoville is doing the hot stuff. Watch out for that ketchup. But please tell me that you understand this concept and that this makes sense to you. You don't have to wrestle with a God. If you're trying to get sober and the God is a concept that you can't wrap your brain around, you may later in life decide that you can. Your brain isn't firing on all cylinders when you first quit. And that's a sad thing. Hello, Jilbo Baggins. Good to see you. Debbie, I'm glad you're here. It really is a struggle. That when we need to be firing on cylinders, right? When you need to be firing on every cylinder more than you ever have in your life, you're not. Your brain isn't working at all. And that's one of the hardest things is that, let's use alcohol as an example. We know that the brain chemistry in a human being isn't going to level out when you quit drinking until probably 2 weeks before any of that starts to level. So for that first 2 weeks, you're fighting not only the drug, but you're also fighting The fact that you don't have the equipment necessary, the requisite equipment to get sober. It takes a remarkable amount of brain. Yeah, knowing it, this is in order to get sober. This is a pretty good comment from Spanky. He says, believing in God is not necessary in order to get sober. And it's the truth. I know a lot of people who have gotten sober without a belief in God. However, realizing you're not the center of the universe is absolutely a necessity, right? A necessity. It absolutely has to be a situation where you realize that there are people on this planet that are as important as you are. And one of the things that we struggle with as addicts is that we very quickly become the center of the universe. We become not just self-centered, right? But self-centric. There's nothing else that is important other than our buzz and all of the things that we have to make happen to keep our buzz going. And it should make a lot of sense. It should make a lot of sense to everybody that this process steals from you, right? And it steals from you in a lot of ways. We talk about addiction constantly being a thief, right? Alcohol gives you nothing. Drugs give you nothing. All they do is take away. In the beginning, they trick you into believing that they're giving you something, right? You start drinking and it gives you courage, right? You can go out there and you can do whatever you want. Take your shirt off, dance on a table, right? You're absolutely fearless, right? It doesn't take away fear. It doesn't. What it does is it gives you a false sense of security, right? And that gets you into all kinds of trouble. Nothing good comes from drugs. But in the beginning, like a cult or like anything else, it all seems like it does. Like I remember the first time that I did heroin, the first time I did an opiate when I didn't need an opiate. And for the first time ever, I felt comfortable in my own skin, right? That feeling that I couldn't put words to for the first 16 years of my life, I didn't need to try anymore to put words to because that feeling went away. Now, what did I think? I thought heroin gave me peace. It gave me nothing. It gave me nothing. It took away, right? It took away the discomfort that I didn't deal with as a child. Yesterday on the interview that I did, we talked about trauma and what trauma means. Trauma is stuff from our past that we didn't deal with at the time. We didn't cope with, we didn't take care of, and we didn't come to grips with what this means in our life when it was happening. So we're going to deal with it forever until we do. So that feeling of being uncomfortable in my own skin, it wasn't a genetic flaw. It wasn't something that, now my inability to say no to heroin, that's a genetic flaw. But the feeling of discomfort in my own skin was the result of something that happened to me when I was in my teens. The struggle becomes finding exactly where in that chain you jump the rail. Now, we do that through journaling, right? And we do it through powers greater than ourselves. Believe it. Now, you can do that by praying, or you can do that by having people that you work with, but it's going to require taking a damn pen and a damn piece of paper and working through the things in your head on paper. It is going to require you becoming an active participant in you wanting to make yourself better. I got a great piece of advice that will save you massive amounts of money. Don't buy a self-help book if you think it's going to fix you. It's not. There are no books that fix people, right? There are religious doctrines that do. But if that's not your get down, then I assure you, you're not going to read a self-help book that is going to fix you. What is going to fix you is coming to a place in your life where the trauma from your past has been dealt with in total, right? In total. Then when we start to live with all of that crap in our past taken care of, right? Then what we need to do is learn that as things come by, right? We just look at them, we pass them on, right? Things that are going by during the day. It's like a streaming service. Things just stream by as opposed to recording them, right? And taking stuff home and bumming out. As those small things happen, we address them. right? We never let the seeds of discord grow inside of us. We don't let it happen in relationships. We don't let it happen in business. And we sure as crap don't let it happen in our own brains. If the automatic negative thoughts are starting to take you apart, it's because you're not working. Sorry. If ants are kicking your ass, you're not doing what is responsible as a sober person to quiet them down. And they can be quieted down. I'm not sitting here and I'm telling you, I had the loudest ants in North America. Usually standing next to me, you could hear my automatic negative thoughts, right? Telling me I was a piece of crap and a heroin addict. Telling me that I was a thief, that I was a criminal. I was born a criminal. My brain was different than other people's. I couldn't live in your world. I couldn't. That's what the ants told me, right? My automatic negative thoughts said, you're not like anybody else. They can do this. You can't. That was my recurring thing over and over and over and over. You know what, Scoob? I got a great story on a very similar circumstance. There is a place in the Northeast. It's called Copley Medical Center. Copley Medical Center worked on my hand after I had a horrific accident that severed the radial and the ulnar nerve, a ski tip. I broke a ski and the edge went inside my hand and then made about a 360, right? As the ski turned around. It went through the glove, through everything. But underneath my skin, it made a 360 degree and it just decimated everything in it. But Copley Medical Center put me back together, right? Got the hand working. I said to the doctor, I can't feel this, right? There's nothing there. And the doctor said to me, give it about 3 to 4 weeks and that will come back. Now, he lied to me. The doctor knew that it wasn't coming back. He knew that when I walked out of there, that I wasn't going to feel this for the rest of my life. Now, the pinky I got, but the rest of it's shot. Right? It's not there. He lied to me. Now, I would tell everybody on planet Earth, do not go to this place, right? That would have been my recommendation. Please do not go to this place. This is not a good facility. That same year, a guy that was a very close friend and brother in college, we called him Digger. Digger got hit by a Bronco, right? A hit and run accident, a drunk driver. He got hit by a guy I knew, right? A guy I knew hit my friend. He ran, got in deep, deep trouble for it. But my friend's head dented the brush bar on this vehicle. Literally, there was hair in the dent. Like you knew what caused it. And Copley Medical Center somehow put this dude back together and he can speak. If you could have seen what he looked like, they saved him. They didn't do a very good job on me, right? We sometimes get to a point where we can go, this person had a bad experience at this hospital. I'm not going to go anywhere near it. The truth of the matter is, I had a really bad experience with a doctor, not the hospital, right? Copley didn't do a damn thing wrong. This was a douche that didn't feel like having the conversation about what my life was going to be like without feeling in my hand. He knew he was never going to see me again. And it was just a lot easier for him to lie and say, give it 3 or 4 weeks. Because weeks later, I wasn't in that part of the state. I was back at home. And I went and saw a doctor who I said, the feeling hasn't come back in my hand yet. And he went, it's not going to come back. You know, if you cut a nerve, right? It's kind of a bummer, right? But you're not getting it back. I prefer the truth. You know, medically, the truth is always a whole lot better. But I sat down and we did these things where you learn to pick things up, right? They had these things that almost looked like ping pong balls. And you would pick them up and take them and set them from one place to another. But they were if you put too much pressure on them, they would shatter. They were really, really thin. And you learn touch and other things. And over time, you can get to a point where your hand is probably pretty close to as good as the other one, right? Like I can do things but it took years and years and years. Not a bad hospital, a bad friggin' doctor, right? And for all I know, maybe an internist. Like, I don't know, he was young as hell. I don't even know. But he lied to me. Wasn't the end of the world. But I would crap on this hospital forever. Maybe it's great. Who knows? The most important thing always is to go in there and meet. I don't care if honest to God, if the last person said to me, that place sucks, I'm still going in. Because for me, especially up here, right? If you're working on my leg, you're working on my shoulder, but if you're working north of the shoulders, right? If you're working between the ears, what works for me ain't going to work for Spanky. And what works for Spanky probably isn't going to work for Scoob. So if you happen to catch me along the way, the most important thing is that you communicate with your doctor. And when you're unhappy, you tell them so. I'm not happy with this, right? We get this thing in our head that, well, they went to school for 28 years and they know more about the body than, I'm going to be really honest. I've met a crap load of doctors who have wicked God complexes, right? For real. So as a patient, you really have to communicate with your doctor, and you have to be able to say, you know what, this is my treatment, right? It's my treatment. It's about me, right? It is all about me. You know what, Charlie? Years later, I was at Snowbird Mountain Resort, and they were having a clinic for doctors who literally just work on nerve stuff. And they were all coming in to rent skis. And I told every single doctor that walked through, right? Every doctor that walked through, I told them about this, right? And I finally came across one who was willing to talk to me. And he said, you know what? There are procedures that people are doing where they're trying to. He said the success rate is horrifically low. I'm to the point now where I wouldn't care. Like, I wouldn't get it done now, I think, if I could, because I'm just so damn used to it. But Nicola, I'm glad that you're here. You know, my Bee Gees song, I haven't seen recent of it. My Bee Gees song is coming along. I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off the whole song, but I am definitely going to be singing the Tragedy song set to Reese doing her Muppet routine when the people call in, and I'm going to make a short. So it's going to be going up in the next day or two, and it's going to be really, really funny. Lisa White says, the Mayo Clinic saved my life. Renal cell carcinoma. Surgery and healthy. My brother is a physician there, and they're amazing. Awesome. I happen to know that there is a place in Houston, Texas called MD Anderson that has done some really amazing work with some people that I know. That there are great hospitals. There really are. And you know what? There are great doctors. Hold on one second. But if you don't come up with the ability to communicate with your doctor and tell them what is going to go on, then you're screwed. No one is going to communicate for you. I missed something. What channel was Tommy's interview on yesterday? Can we put a link up there, please, to Tammy's channel so that you can see where I was yesterday? It was the start. It was a really fascinating subject matter, I think. I think that it, to me, seeing people talk about the similarities, between the traumas. It was go and watch it. I promise you're going to be happy that you did. Hill hath no fury, like something. Sharon's channel, Surviving Together, is the channel. You know what? I believe this in every hospital. I'm glad you said this. By the way, by the name, you should know that Midwest Kid Doc probably has an idea of this, yeah? Okay. One of our resident docs. Truthfully, the Mayo Clinic is like all hospitals. There are wonderful people, and there are those who, in my opinion, need to regroup and focus on the mission. And that's everywhere, isn't it? I think it's another thing that we lose sight of. I used to go to pain specialists all the time. They want to treat your pain. They want to help you. But you lose sight when you walk out the door of how many times a day they see somebody that just wants to get high. You lose sight of how many times a day somebody lies to them. Because if you're in pain management, you're getting lied to by probably half your patients. It's not fair to the people who are really in pain. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who seek their drugs through the legitimate medical system. And doctors get hard and doctors get jaded. And I have met people who it honestly starts to feel like they're changing oil at Jiffy Lube. They've been doing this a really long time, and you're not treated like a human the way you were with their first 10 patients. I promise you, right? With their first 10 patients, they knew your name, right? They talked to you, they asked you questions. They were very, very involved. And like anything else in life, once you've done that 1,000 times, right? You start getting a little bit different. We are all fallible. There is no question. We are all fallible. Sadly, Mary Gonzalez, from time to time, it is necessary to put a little faith in man. Now, I happen to be a believer, so I know where you were going with that. But there are people on this planet who, sadly, if we're going to get sober and we're going to live our life right, you're not going to do it alone. It just doesn't work. Now, I'm going to get an email tonight. I promise. I'm going to get an email, and it's going to say, I got sober. I live alone in the woods. I've talked to nobody. God bless you. But you're not the norm, right? In the normal world, people who get sober do so by putting together a team of people who help them. And it's not even messed up if you think about it in terms of assembling a team. It doesn't make you a bad person to have a team of people that you rely on to remain sober. I assure you, it's better than buying beer every day or heroin or cocaine or whatever else flips your switch, right? Having a plan and having a group of people in place that you can reach out and contact who are going to help you. Kirsten, I would love to answer this question here, but it'll run off people who need to get sober. So what I would say is this, send me an email because I would love to answer this question for you. I really would. What I don't want to do is run off somebody that needs help because believe it or not, there are people on this planet who just plain hate people who believe in God. Not sure why, but they exist. So I do what I can to leave my religion, which is the most important part of my life, by the way. It's more important than all of you, I promise. But I don't bring it here because there are people who need to get sober that don't need to hear about my faith. However, I love talking about my faith. So go ahead and shoot me an email and I will tell you the entire story. I think you'll dig it. Thank you, Anik. You're not too far behind, by the way. You know, Jen Marie, I think we're making headway in the hating thing. Honest to God, I believe we're making headway. And I'm not the bright-eyed optimist that I was as a kid. In fact, I'm probably more pessimistic than almost anybody you're going to meet these days. But I truthfully believe that we're making headway in this hate thing. I really do. I think we're making headway in it. But you know something? You all can step up to the plate and do a little bit about that. I promise you can, right? Quit being so freaking petty. It goes a long way. It really does. Let me tell you right now, I only believe in one God. It should be painfully obvious, right? Most people have a faith that they might believe in 3 gods, but there's one religion that they follow. I don't give a crap if you follow a different religion. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't. If you put a post up about your religion on Facebook, I just scroll by it. It doesn't offend me. I don't feel the need to reach out and go, hey, take that down. How dare you? We get complaints every time somebody puts up something that says, God bless you. Sorry, it's the truth. If it move by, scroll down by it. How's it hurting you? Now, that said, I don't want anybody I can't say the word. I don't want anyone trying to win souls for your religion on the lifeboat. I don't. As bad as I would love to win every single soul, I'm not doing that on this boat, so neither are you. Feel me? That's on any of our other platforms too. But freedom from religion doesn't mean that you bash on people who are believers. And it doesn't mean believers bash on people who aren't. It means that we coexist. I coexisted in prison. Honestly, do you know something? They talk about racism in prison all the time. I want to clarify things about racism in prison, because I got an email that you will never hear a white man drop the N-word in prison, ever. It's never going to happen, ever. Maybe at lower custody levels, I don't know. But where the big boys play, that doesn't happen. And not because a black guy would kill you, because a white guy would kill you. Because it's disrespectful to the point that it's going to screw up business. Feel me? And business is, I want to go visit my kids on the weekends, right? Because I get visiting. Or I like to work out and do yoga. Or I go to the law library and I'm fighting my case. But it means getting out of my cell to go do what I do. If somebody drops the N-word, we're going to have a race riot. We're going to get locked down for 6 months. No one's going to go to the law library. Nobody's going to get a visit. No one's going to go to store. To keep business as usual running. And by the way, there are drug dealers making a fortune who don't want it to get locked down. They're willing to kill you if you screw up their business. There are guys in prison making $1,000 a day selling dope. They don't want a lockdown to happen. So as much as we talk about racism, what we really talked about was segregation, because they won't let the groups sit together or live together. They keep them separate. But the respect level between blacks and whites in prisons could teach the world a hell of a lot about respect. You know, we're not going to do anything that's going to cause problems. Now, is it violent in there? You bet. It's vicious. It's not a good society. I'm not saying anything about it is solid. But what I'm saying is, like, I got an email from people that just said, you know, it sucks that everybody in there is so racist. It's got to be horrible. There's not a lot of talk about being racist. It's just that the groups are separated from each other. It's a very odd dynamic, but the hate that you see in prison isn't directed toward other races and things like that. The hate that you feel in prison is just hate. Everybody in there hates everything. It's a feeling that you can feel. It gets on your skin. It's absolutely disgusting. Thank you to all the members of the Lifeboat. Been under some emotional stress the past couple of days. Thank you for being there. My body is not too happy with part of me. Oh, my fibromyalgia life. I'm so sorry. My God. I am, boy, do I hurt for people who have fibromyalgia. Debbie P says, I too was repeatedly lied to by a doctor. I thought they had to, or supposed to tell the patient the truth, whatever it may be. That has been my understanding, right? I would call an attorney. If this doctor lied to you over a period of time and you can document that, I would call an attorney. I assure you, this is malfeasance, right? This should not happen. They should not lie to you to protect your feelings or anything else, right? You have to have those conversations where you say, this is it, right? Lisa White, welcome to the boat. I've got to do that so that we know the next time you come here, you won't be new. One of the beautiful things about the Lifeboat is we really are a pretty caring and kind group of people. And most everybody here will be very, very happy that you're here, Lisa. It's a very unusual group of people. I have been blessed to be able to sit in this chair. I honestly, this community built itself. I just got a really cool chair. Kat Kaplan says, my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is knocking me on my ass. The pain is intensified 10 times. You know what? Thoughts and prayers, Kat. I'm really sorry. Pain is really a tough thing for addicts. We're not built well. We're not equipped well to handle pain. We're not. It is sadly one of the defining characteristics of addicts. When pain comes, we do what we can to get rid of it, and more often than not, we drug ourselves for that purpose. And I know it's horrible, right? It's sad. It really is. Nicola, you know what? I have not spoken to Mark Wages in a few days. I'm not feeling the normal stuff that I normally feel when space weather's killing me, because sometimes I really notice it. And having Mark, Mark was my partner for so long on the boat, and he was still doing what Wages World. And I would say to him, I would describe 5 things that were happening, and he'd go, "Guess what?" And then he would talk about all the solar weather. But what happens in space absolutely affects what happens here. It does. I mean, space weather is it affects us here on planet Earth in a really big way. And they used to talk about it on the news. I don't remember why they stopped, but they used to. When I was a kid, space weather was actually covered in the weather reports. It was a brief part every time where they would talk about, CMEs or whatever. It's like at some point, they wanted us to stop, being a part of it or whatever. It was odd, really odd. I don't know if I've said enough in the last couple of days how proud I am of my kid for pulling a couple of shows that I thought were great. I really did. It was there's a piece I get about that I can't explain. I mean it. It's fantastic to see a kid do something and do it well. I think that every parent probably catches a buzz on that, but I've been riding a high for a couple of days on it. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty good stuff. Don't get him messed up, and don't be patting him on the back too hard. Don't get crazy. The kid needs work, but he went yard. I was pretty impressed with Spanky. He had a home run and did it a couple of times. So it's going to allow me to do a lot more, because I'm going to feel a lot less pressure about sitting in the chair all the time. I will not lie to you. There are times that I have passed up the opportunity to go do things because this is the focus of my life. I believe really wholeheartedly that this connection stuff is keeping people sober. I don't like it not going up. It upsets me when we're not live. It is really awesome to have a solid person that I can trust, that I can drop in the chair. It really is. Mary Gonzalez, thank you. Spanky gets the credit on that, but he's a hell of a kid. There's no question. We were blessed beyond measure. I definitely think that what is around us affects our physical and mental states. It is generally agreed that this is true with other animals. I'm not sure why so many don't think it affects us. Funny, right? But there are people out there for whatever reason. I think that sometimes when we hear things and it's like we get the overload stuff, we're like, oh, you mean, holy shit, we got to worry about weather in space too that can hurt. I don't talk to me about this. Like, all of us have at one time or another seen fear porn. Those shows where, they tell you that the earth is going to end, and it seems like every show they tell you that the earth is going to end. And it's a genre. There are people that are super into it. And then there are people that just literally, some people go that way and they want to know of every little thing that might possibly be able to hurt us or take us off the planet. If it's a 1 in 10 million chance that, that comet 3637 is going to strike Earth, they want to know about it, right? They want to be watching. And they want to know that as it misses Earth by 9 million miles, that was a close one, right? And then there are those people who hear about that and go, yeah, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I've kind of been that person, truthfully. I mean, not in everything, but, there are things that people bring up and they're like, oh man, this is going on. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need one more thing in my life to worry about these days. I really just don't need one more thing in my life to worry about. What a kind thing to say. Your channel has conversations that need to happen. Great job being true to you. Thank you so much. Boy, if you guys haven't heard, wait till you see the call-in show, the new and improved call-in show. Hey, V-Bombs. Hope New York is nice today. Wait till you see where we're going with the call-ins, because this is going to be a call-in show. Even when we're not a call-in show, it's going to be a call-in show. I'm going to do shows like I normally do. But if there's somebody, how many times have I been in the audience and I'll say, hey, V-Bombs, right? Or Midwest Kid Doc. And we try to do a back and forth, 30 seconds one way, I respond, 30 seconds back, they wait. It's a terrible way to have a conversation. We're going to have at our disposal the opportunity to allow people to call in, so that if someone's hurting, we can get them on the phone. It's going to be I think that this is really going to be the best possible thing that could happen. I love that. You do best around wind and water. I'll take a 16-hour ferry ride over flying because it's part of slowing down for the holiday. I love it. I get that. I absolutely get that. Believe it or not, if I had my druthers, I would travel by train all the time. I really would. I absolutely, and I know people hate it. And my family, we tried to do it once and had a horrific experience. Just did an Amtrak thing that was horrible, but I've done it as an adult. I love riding trains. I love a sleeper car more than anything in the world. It just seems civilized to me. And I don't know, maybe I'm not that much of a hurry. Well, when you do, reach out, right? Love to come on and have a conversation with you. I really would. Kristen Melinda goes with the, I just kind of assumed the world could end tomorrow. Tracy agrees with you. I think a lot of people do. Lisa, this is the most insidious drug on the planet because it's so acceptable. And as you start to get, all of the different things that I did in my life with sales or whatever, I'm not an alcoholic. It's not my drug. I never enjoyed it. I really it's not my buzz, but it was such a part of everything. Like if I was selling, I was on a boiler room floor or whatever, drinking was how you celebrated. And it was just like, even for non-drinkers, it was just such a part of society that I completely understand why a young man who is now becoming successful won't see the abuse. And very often they won't see it until it's an issue. As a mom, or as a dad, if it's my kid, my question is, when I would say, how often are you drinking? Do you drink every day? Because if you're drinking every day, you have to ask yourself if that's something that's going to work out. Because if you drink every day, you're not going to run into a lot of people for whom that worked out for. You're not. I mean, and the realization, sometimes you just need to have somebody say to you, for real. I mean, that may sound stupid but you don't think. You come home from work, you grab 2 beers. Come home from work, you grab 2 beers. But when someone puts the question to you, hey, when's the last time you went a day without drinking? When's the last time you went 3 days without drinking? And are you drinking because you like the taste of beer? Are you drinking because after work you like to unwind? Or are you drinking because this has become your coping mechanism? You get upset all day long, go through work, get pissed, whatever, and come home and need that one as soon as you walk through the door. Because if that's the case, well, then we've got an issue, right? And we got a big one. And we have an issue with a drug that can freaking kill you, right? This isn't one of those fart around kinds of drugs. Sadly, alcohol kills 30,000 plus people a year in America, right? It pales in comparison to what, But by the way, that's alcohol-related deaths. It's another number that I think is horrifically underreported. Because there are old people who are going to pass away today who, had they not been drinkers for the last 25 years, might have lived another 10. Okay? My Other's Keeper says, my show's been running since January 1st. I have on fascinating people, and I'm really looking forward to a much more active chat. I want a show like you and Reese. Yeah, and it's a lot more fun when that happens. I will tell you this. I did 700, maybe 800 shows with 18 or less people in the comment section. The regular crew was about 15 to 18 for well over a year and a half before we caught a break and the channel started to really get some traction. The beautiful thing is, I was dumb enough to think that we were successful. Right? I didn't know any better. I honestly didn't care if it was a successful YouTube channel. What I wanted was 6 people that were going to somehow, because of showing up and listening, 6 people were going to say, I'm going to quit this stuff. I'm going to do what it takes to no longer be a drinker. So when I would look out and see 18, I'd go, damn, right? That's 3 times the number of, number of people we were hoping for. So when I do a live feed, and this is a small one right now, right? Because we've been on the road and whatever, 150 people in the chat is a small one. But for the first 9 minutes today, we had less than 30, and it was great. Believe it or not, enjoy it. There's going to be a time where you're going to have so many people in the chat that you're going to say, hey, Charlie, you remember when, Mullins didn't miss one, V didn't miss one, all of the old time was 7th, but there was just a handful of us. We talked. Well, it was really a meeting. It was really just like an NA or AA meeting. It was, a handful of people sitting around and talking. But this is important. I wish Reese was listening to this. But this is important because this perspective gets lost. Reese has a 7-month-old or 8-month-old show or whatever, and she's got 20,500 subscribers. I have been working like the people that built the pyramids for 3 consecutive years on this to have the exact same amount, right? Reese has probably done, I don't know, 200 videos, 150 videos, something like that. I've done 1,600, right? Everybody in YouTube who gets successful does so at a different rate. Now, Reese had a real great jump start with Aaron kind of giving her a leg up. I think he kind of felt a little guilty. But you can hand somebody, and I've watched this happen. If Johnny Scoville's watching, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. We had a friend that handed somebody 11,000 subscribers. There's no other way to say it. This person did everything within their power to make sure that, and it only took a couple of weeks, but he got this person 11,000 subscribers. That person couldn't keep them there. They don't have a channel anymore. Because you can get people to hit subscribe. Getting people to watch is a little bit more difficult. Reese has an engagement rate of about 40%, and YouTube average is about 3. The reason Reese is growing at the rate she's growing is she's really good at this. And the funny thing is, she doesn't know that. And probably doesn't have a whole lot of reason necessarily to be good at it. There's not been a lot of training. There's not been a lot of anything. She picked the perfect name. She's one of the most relatable people you will ever meet, right? And people love watching her. But it is a long, arduous process for most people. But she is gifted to beat hell in terms of that it factor that makes people want to watch, right? The rest of us, we grind it out a little bit. If you pick a subject matter that means so much to you, right? No matter how hard or how long a process it is, you're not going to care. You'll love every minute of it, because the like for me, this isn't about a view, and it's not about watch time. Or, by the way, 50 years. We have done 50 years of watch time. If the lifeboat had been turned on and run around the clock 24 hours a day, right? 50 years it would take for all of the watch time that we've had. That's Cindy Collins. Reese's YouTube channel is called Relatable Reese. Can somebody put a link up for that? She's just Reese and authentically messy, and that's refreshing. She's Reese. She's one of the most relatable people that you would ever want to meet. But and people love watching. And when people love watching, here's the real secret, though, and I promise you this. The real secret of YouTube is the crowd of people. You guys aren't showing up for me. Even if you think you are, I promise. You're showing up because we have the 154 people who are in chat right now are the coolest people you'd ever want to meet. They're cooler than the other side of your pillow. They're rock stars. I meet them in person and I'm in awe. I'm not joking. You've seen me meet them, right? I've met a bunch of them on film. I'm always so blown away. I'm always as excited to meet a fan of the channel as they are to meet me, I promise. And if you care about your audience and you interact with your audience, and you're probably going to end up with a channel that's real similar to the ones that we have. I think that's what makes, doesn't matter what you're talking about either. Chase the Heat is not a sobriety channel, but damn, they got an audience that's real similar, don't they? Because you're going to get people that are pulling in the right direction, or you're going to get people that are pulling in the wrong direction. And we really, I feel like here, everybody's pulling in the right direction. You know, we have an audience that when a negative person shows up, I get rid of them. Mean people suck. I don't need them around. You know, for real. DJ Daddio says, Reese has a great sense of humor and quick wit. She cares about people, so needed in today's world. DJ Daddio, who I call Mr. T, is probably one of the cats on the lifeboat, honestly, that I have as much respect for as anybody else. I'm not kidding. I have unbelievable amounts of respect for this man. He and I are friends, right? Real friends. You know, we communicate with one another. And although I've probably been woeful of late because my communications have been, but DJ Daddio is a brother. And you know what? That was a great comment, because that literally, I think, summed that up. And there just aren't enough people currently on planet Earth whose default setting is caring for other people, right? There aren't. And the reason that people show up on the boat, and the reason people show up over there and on channels like it, is because everybody kind of got the memo that mean people suck, and we're kind of a nicer group of people. Now, we're going to fight hard to keep it that way. Here on the boat, I promise you, because the bigger you get, the harder that is to do, right? You get a whole new group of people. Have you ever gone over to somebody's chat that you haven't been to in like a month, 3 weeks, 2 months, whatever? You show up and you come to the realization that you don't know one name in the chat, right? You don't know anybody. And you go, what the hell happened? What happened to the audience that used to be here? A lot of times, if you don't treat your audience like family, it's I don't know. It's a very odd thing that we do. Sorry, people, just trying to make sure that this wasn't an emergency, because sometimes they can, you know what I mean? Family and whatnot. Scoob, I love that. I really do. Scooby says, to wake up not angry about being ignored is nice. You know what? Sit down right now with a pen and a paper and write that down. You hear me? Sit down with a notebook and write that sentence. Write it out. To wake up not angry about being ignored is nice. Then continue to write. I promise. When you can make a statement like that, you need to be journaling. I promise. And if the statement was a negative one and you wrote, waking up feeling judged is the worst feeling in the world, right? Journal about it. You understand? When you're talking about an emotion, right, that is important, friggin' write about it. That's when you're supposed to journal, right? People say, boy, I have a hard time, journaling. Do you realize how easy it can be? J9 just writes, I can't wait to get my frickin' pajamas on. Guess what, people? You could start your journal entry like that. You realize what a huge sentence that is? Honest to God. There's a book in that sentence. I can't wait to get my frickin' pajamas on. Right? How much do we not know about what happened in J9's day that J9 just can't wait to get the frickin' pajamas on, put this day to bed and move on. Yeah. Hey, Sweet Tea. Good to see you. Missed you. I know I've been on the road. I missed all of you. I really have. But I'll be getting back to work, people. This is my last day. I'll be flying out today. So, in fact, I'm getting closer. All right, people. You just got to start writing to get through the block. You just got to start getting into the habit of doing what it is we do. But good afternoon, people. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. The cat's on the other side of the country. Where is that kid? Spanx Calhoun? Hey, look at you, you bright lit thing.
It is I,
How are you?
Spanx Calhoun.
How'd you sleep?
I'm good. I slept good and long on Sunday morning. I am just now having coffee with the boat, as I normally do in my morning, although much later than normal today. Yeah, how are you?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All kinds of stuff done. We're cooking with gas, Calhoun. Plenty of stuff. Now I'm going to be coming home and I'm going to be working you like the guy that built the pyramids. This phone system that
Oh, man.
this phone system that we've got now, people. So the last time we did this on a call in, we were using Google Earth. There were all of these things because it was a test run. We'll have a dedicated phone number. It's going to be the same phone number forever. It's a totally different system. This is a pro setup. We'll have a little bit of growing pains while we figure it out because this is high tech stuff. But fortunately, it'll be Calhoun's fault, not mine. No, I'm kidding. But fortunately, I got a kid that can figure it out, and I can't.
I'm going to ace the test. Don't worry.
That's it. So we got this. All right. I love you all. Calhoun, I love you more. And
I love you, Dad.
See all of you on the next one. I'm sorry. Hold on. Julie, I am so sorry. I really am. Thoughts and prayers for you and for your friends, family. It's a painful disease. There's not much worse than alcoholism because people literally drink themselves to death. And so often as friends and family, we watch with a feeling of helplessness while people disassemble their own life with the use of alcohol. So, Julie, I'm sorry for your loss. I really am. And I'm sorry that I saw this when we're wrapping this up because I would love for people to support you here. Please come back. Huh? Please keep coming back, Julie. Yeah, her body couldn't keep up. She said, that is how it happens. It's a poison. That's why it goes through your liver. It's a freaking poison. So glad my kid isn't doing it. So glad my brother's not doing it. You know, my son and my brother are alcoholics. Neither of them drink. Proud as hell. I really, really am. All right. That's really the end now. We'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Captain Tommy. Bye-bye.